Hello everyone and welcome to Xintil Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against Grey. Broken Realms Teclis has given us a bunch of fantastic new box sets for a variety of different armies. Each of these is giving us the building blocks to start a new force with them, built around a battalion. And while in this video we won't be looking at those battalions exactly, we will be looking at using those particular box sets to give us an idea of how to build upon an army. And so today we're going to be looking at the Xintil War-Magi box set, which is coming out for the Cities of Sigmar. And so in this box set we just get two kits for a reduced cost. So in it we get two of the Illuminarch of Haish Celestial Hurricanum kit. Now this kit has a multitude of different models that it can build. For one, it can build both the Celestial Hurricanum and Illuminarch of Haish as the normal sort of selves, but it can also build both variants with a Battle Mage on top. What's cool, if you choose not to build one of these variants with a Battle Mage on top, you can also build Battle Mages on foot as well. And there's a bunch of different ways you can make some really cool looking models out of these. I've really seen people go to absolute town with these models. So let's get looking into, I guess, what they sort of do. And so we'll start off with the Celestial Hurricanum. For starters, the Celestial Hurricanum is going to give us +1 to cast for all friendly Collegiate Arcane Wizards. Collegiate Arcane Wizards are the human wizards within Cities of Sigmar. It's also going to give us a +1 to hit bubble around it, and this is for both shooting and combat, which is really great. Not only on top of that, but it has some amazing mortal wound potential where it gets to roll 3 dice, and on a 2-up does D3 mortal wounds for each 2-up it rolls. It's also got a really cool spell with its Comet of Cassandora, able to cool down a literal comet onto people's heads and do some more mortal wounds. This thing can actually pack out a decent punch. We've then got the other side of the kit, which is the Illuminarch of Haish, which has a bonus to Dispel. So if you have these two models together, you're going to get +1 to Dispel and +1 to cast. Both of these abilities only for Collegiate Arcane Wizards. You then also get a 6+ Feel No Pain, or DPR, whatever you want to call it, a 6-up after save for all models within a certain radius of the Illuminarch of Haish. And on top of that, it's got its Searing Beam of Light, where it shoots this refracted beam of light out of that giant sort of cannon-like mirror thing it's got on top, which does a bunch of mortal wounds to all things in its path. It has some pretty cool spells on the War Scroll as well, like Fast Protection, which all light battle mages have, which is amazing. You get to pick one of your units, and that unit's -1 to hit, a really great spell. You then also got Burning Gaze, which does some mortal wounds, and against the larger units it gets to either double or triple that, depending whether they have 10 or more or 20 or more models in the unit, which is pretty cool. Tripling D3 can actually be quite good. It gives you a nice sort of solid average number. But also, besides that, as mentioned, you can build the two Battle Mages on feet, and these get very similar spells to what their models do on the Hurricanums. They just lose the extra spell. So for the Light Mage on foot that we've got pictured here, for instance, it loses Burning Gaze and only remains to get Fast Protection, which is fine because Fast Protection is amazing. So this is what you get in the two kits, and I think you really have either option you can choose. You can either choose to go, I guess, a Celestial Hurricanum with the Battle Mage and maybe a normal Illuminarch. You can choose to have them both with Battle Mages. For the battalion, however, you're going to be wanting to have the Celestial Hurricanum with the Battle Mage and then a normal Illuminarch of Haish, if the battalion is what you're planning to build onto. But it is also quite easy to make these Battle Mages on their own bases and then have them, because a 25mm base sits really nicely on that top little canopy part where you can see the Celestial Hurricanum's wizard is standing. So let's get cracking onto it, and let's go look at how we can expand this force to help us build up a solid base for a Cities of Sigmar army. And so where do we go from that initial box set? Now, to make a premise for this video, we are going to be looking at, I guess, building up a force to start around Settlers Gain, because that is what Broken Realms Teclis has given us. Now, I will say that that box set, originally the Xintil War-Magi box set, also is a great starting base for a Hallowheart army as well, or even Tempest Eye as well. It has, as Cities of Sigmar, a great variety of uses, but for the point of this video we are going to look at Settlers Gain, which is the brand new city in Broken Realms Teclis. And so to start with, I think the first thing we need to worry about is getting our battle line filled, and because we've got such expensive characters in the box set already, I think it's wise that we decide to maybe go for some cheaper options for our battle line. You can find some really good, cheap, solid battle line options in either Free Good Guard, or if you'd like to maybe do some Dark Elf and get some more elves into the army, Maybe you could go for things like Dread Spears or Bleak Swords, who are slightly more expensive but still will do a decent job. For shooting units as well, we're going to want some handgunners or some crossbowmen, both come in the same box set, but once again you could also choose to go for a bunch of other cheap elven options. You have either the option of taking Dark Shards for maybe some Dark Elf, High Elf sort of connection, or you could grab an old High Elf kit, the Shadow Warriors, and actually put in some old High Elf models with the new High Elves, I guess, that Lumineth are in Warhammer Age of Sigmar. Continuing on this trend, I think it would be amazing to have some Phoenix Guard in this army. I mean, I really want to see Phoenix Guard in this army with the rest of the High Elf range, and I think that would be amazing. Not only that, but Phoenix Guard do give you a lot in an army. If you've chosen to take a Wizard on foot as your general, you are going to get all those Cities of Sigmar benefits, which means you're going to have things like being able to take an Honoured Retinue and an Adjutant. So a unit of Phoenix Guard are a really great Honoured Retinue, as they have that DPR save where they can start putting some mortal wounds onto their own save. Now, however, the last thing, and I guess the coolest thing about Settlers Gain, is the fact that they are going to be able to take 1 in 4 units as Lumineth Realm Lords. This, of course, is in addition to the 1 in 4 Stormcast Eternal rule, which Settlers Gain will keep, unlike, say, Harkuron, which lost it in Broken Realms Marathi. So this is cool. You could pick some Stormcast units here, which is an awesome option, but you could also pick some Lumineth Realm Lords, which I think is really the thing you're going to aim for in Settlers Gain. And so the things I'm going to think of are what units that are going to really take advantage of being around maybe those bonuses to cast or fill in the gaps in the army. I think things like the Swordmasters with their great sweeping blows can actually get a really nice buff out of the Hurricanum, which will actually make their big sweeping blows hit even better. Or you could take things like the Windrunners here, the Kangaroo Gallimimus crossbred cavalry that the Lumineth are riding, which have some really cool bow-mounted fast cav, which really give you a bit of speed to your army. On top of that, you've also got the amazing different Lumineth wizards. You could potentially bring in something like the Lore Seeker as well, which is another fantastic piece, and he has some really cool rules for capturing objectives, enabling him to go out and far-reaching where your army sort of sits and contains in this compact little force. Lumineth give you a bunch of different options, and Stormcast a bunch more options on top of that. It's a really cool thing when you've got these 2 options to pick from. And so lastly, we've put together a little sample army list for you. Now, to start off with, we're obviously going to be playing Cities of Sigmar, and we're going to be playing in the City Settlers Gain. For the purpose of the video, we're really trying to build everything that we can out of the Broken Realms Teclis book. Now, the army is going to come in at exactly 1,000 points, and so, to start with, for leaders, we're going to have a Celestial Hurricanum with Battle Mage, who's going to be our general, and the reason we've chosen to go for this Hurricanum as our general, rather than taking a smaller hero and getting the Adjutant rule, we can instead take a command trait called Strategic Mastermind, which gives us the Adjutant rule. This is really cool, because it means we're not having to bother with that. He's then going to have the artifact, the Silver-Plated Wand, which is going to give him an extra spell to cast, and then he's going to have a spell from the Law of Illumination, Shield of Light. This allows him to pick a friendly unit within a certain range and give a 6-up Feel No Pain on them. We've then got a Battle Mage whose realm is going to be from Haish, because that's what we're going to get from the kit, but Haish is a good spell based anyway, because we're going to get fast protection, which is really awesome. And then he's going to have the Talisman of Dispellation. Now, what's really cool about this artifact is it allows him to dispel an endless spell without giving up a cast. So, it's really useful. We're then going to take the spell Illuminate, which allows us to pretty much pick an enemy unit and sort of light them up for some shooting later in the game. We're then going to have a Lore Seeker as our 1 in 4 unit of Lumineth, and he's got some really cool abilities where he gets to jump on an objective early game, and if he jumps on that objective, your opponent can't claim it while that model is alive. Now, it's worth noting as well, with the artifacts that come with Settlers Gain, they are only for Collegiate Arcane Wizards, so you can't do any of the cool little combos with some certain artifacts like the Heartstone on the Lore Seeker, which would be cool, but unfortunately you cannot. He, however, is going to have the spell Drain Magic, which gives -2 to casting, unbinding, and dispelling around him, and it is for all wizards, so always remember to do this spell last. That Lore Seeker is pretty cool though. If you can get him on a terrain feature, get him in terrain, and get some command points happening in your army, you're going to have a good time, as he's going to be a 3-up save, rerolling ones, which is pretty awesome. For Battle Line, we've gone pretty standard with this one, 10 Free Guild Guard and 10 Free Guild Handgunners. Now, I made a video on the channel not long ago talking about the question, do I take swords or spears, or in, I guess, Free Guild Guard's case, halberds as well, and you might want to go give that a watch to sort of see the ideas I have behind picking the different variations. Lastly, for our behemoth, we're going to have Illuminarch of Haish. This is going to combine well and also give us a little bit more shooting punch and some more mortal wound output. And lastly, to round out the list, we're going to take the Geminids of Orgish. This once again is another -1 to hit penalty in our army and also -1 attack. We're going to be wanting to get as many debuffs off with this start 1,000 points here as possible because there's not a lot of models on the table for us. What's cool is because we haven't done the spell, that's why we've got the Talisman of Dispellation in there, because we're going to be able to cast this, get it out there, and then in our next turn get rid of it straight away and be able to reuse it and put it back where we want it. It's a fun little list to play around with, and I hope you enjoy it. I guess the last little thing as well is, what do you think of Settlers Gain? Are there any cool Lumineth units you might trade out the Lore Seeker for here? Let us know in the comments below. Well, thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our little community here at Xintil War-Magi, you can do so by coming and joining our Discord server, which you'll find a link to in the description of the video. While you're on YouTube as well, go check out my featured channel section, which contains a bunch of other fantastic Age of Sigmar content creators doing everything from battle reports, tactical videos, lore videos, painting tutorials, and more besides that. Lastly though, we'd like to give a shout out to everyone who helps support the channel via Patreon and YouTube members. Thank you to James, AJC, JC, Christian Weir, Soren, Kenny Lowell, Outer and Shot First, Chaospawn, James Crowder, and Andrew Bowen. Thank you all so much for your support. And if you'd like to help support the channel like these fine people do, you can do so by clicking once again on the links down in the description of the video to either YouTube members or Patreon. Thank you all for supporting the channel though, watching the content. Have a nice day, stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the Grey. Ciao for now.